2.5, looking at yesterday's lesson, we learned how to deal with problems that require two decisions. We considered the fact that order of operations just gets reversed when we make our decision. When we learned order of operations, we learned it was parentheses first, exponent second, multiplication and division, remember that was your teacher's third, addition subtraction, remember that was your student's fourth. But whenever we do solving, we flip that around, so our first would actually be our addition subtraction, and our second would be multiplication division. We don't really get into exponents and parentheses in solving, but you will eventually learn how to deal with more complex equations. The key thing for you to know right now is that in terms of what you need to know, the very first thing you should be getting rid of in terms of your two-step equations is your addition subtraction part, and then your multiplication division part. As long as you've got that down, you should be seeing that this really isn't so bad to work with. Today's problems have a slight shift. If your last lesson was manageable, then today should be the same. It's just a slight change in terms of what's going on. So when you see this question on today's work, it's going to ask about the same things as yesterday. What values with the W? Again, here's your W. We ignore the 11 because that's on the other side. The numbers with W are 7. And remember, you need to put that negative, -2. What value should be moved first? Remember, as I said, the addition subtraction should go first. That is this number. So we're going to move the -2. How do you move the -2 if it's being subtracted? And that is by addition. What value should be moved second is obviously the 7. But remember, this 7 now is under a line, which means it's being divided. So if I want to get rid of that 7, I need to multiply this time. Really, that's the only change in your work today. So when you go to solve this, this is what you want to copy for your notes here. When you go to solve this, we know we're going to move the 2 first, so we're going to do +2 + 2. Bring down your W over 7. You actually have to type that in. Equals 11 plus 2, which is 13. By the way, in order to do that, you hit the W, then you hit the key that has the question mark /. That's your division. That'll actually make your fraction. And then 7. If you type that in on your computer when you start over here, it should automatically convert it because that just means division. Or you could hit the little box in more that looks like this. I think you might have had to do some fractions, I don't know, but that pretty much is the button that you use under more on the computer to get that fraction to pop up. But again, if you have issues with that, email me, let me know, we can figure that out. But now we need to move to 7. And so in order to move the 7, because it's being divided, we want to multiply by 7. Remember, we do that by putting the 7 in parentheses. The 7's go away. W comes down with 91. And so looking at what you have here, we are looking at the fact that these are the boxes that you would be filling out as you go through on this problem. So again, same number of boxes. The only difference is you have to put your fraction here because that's what's left over, and you have to get rid of 7 by multiplying instead of dividing like we did yesterday. We only have one more example because, again, hopefully you understand it to the point where you don't need a third and fourth. But again, in this question, what are the values with the T? Again, T is over here. You have a 5, and again, it doesn't matter what order you put them in as long as you have the two numbers there. The number that should be moved first, as we said, is the addition subtraction number, so 9 should go first. How do we move this 9 if it's being added? We will subtract. The value that should be moved second is the other number 5. How do we move that value? Well, if it's under the line, it's being divided, so we will opposite that, which is multiply, and that is not the right way to say that. Let's reverse it, but anyway. So again, copy this second example, and this should have you ready for your homework as you go. So T over 5 plus 9 equals 20. Now what we're going to do is pretty much, again, move the 9. That is plus 9, so we want to put -9 minus 9. Remember, again, that whole thing comes down, so T over 5 as a fraction has to come down. 20 minus 9 is 11. Now we need to move the 5, and the way we do that is by multiplying. The 5's go away. The T comes down with 55. And again, if you need to see your boxes, this is what you're looking at. So the good news right now is that if you've worked hard to understand the material so far, the only difference in tomorrow's lesson is that we flip the sides around. So if you work hard to complete the practice today so you can be prepared for a good test score, it should work out. Be sure to practice your old material because it is also on the test. You will see it added to your homework. Not a lot, but I think 4 questions added to make sure you look at those old ones from last week. And as long as you can handle those, you should be okay. But again, if you're preparing for that test, trying to get your grade up, make sure you ask for help when you need it so I can kind of get you ready for that, and then you can take the test and do well. But other than that, have a good day, and again, good luck.